Hey guys, tonight we begin with the remarkable lives and incredible resilience of the medieval Vikings. The everyday heroes who, despite the odds, managed to achieve perhaps the most effective sleep in human history. From makeshift insulation tricks to communal sleeping strategies, and even their use of sleep-inducing herbs, their story is one of grit, ingenuity, and determination. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from and what time it is for you. It's always fascinating to see who's joining us from around the world. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together to a time of long ships' axes and the thunderous roar of the North Sea. Tonight, our journey will not follow the clash of steel or the call to raid. Instead, we delve into a quieter, yet equally powerful aspect of Viking life. The building of a home, a sanctuary, a longhouse that would stand for generations. We will follow the slow, steady rhythm of hands working with wood and earth. The murmur of a community united by purpose and the gentle breath of seasons turning. Let your own breath deepen, let your thoughts soften, and imagine yourself within the quiet strength of this ancient endeavor. Chapter 1. The Whispering Valley and the Vision. The year began with a whisper in the valley. Not the whisper of wind through the ancient birches, though that was always present, but the soft murmur of ambition of growth stirring within a small, thriving community, nestled deep in the heart of what would one day be known as Norway. Their old longhouses, stout and familiar, had served them well for many generations. Their timbers were dark with age and smoke, their roofs thick with turf that sprouted wildflowers in summer. But the families had grown, children filled every corner, and the need for a new, grander hall had become a quiet, persistent hum in the assembly. It was Olaf, known as Olaf the Builder, who held the clearest vision. He was a man of quiet strength, his hands calloused from years of working wood, his eyes holding the patient wisdom of one who understood the language of the forest. He would sit by the old hearth at night long after the others had drifted to sleep, tracing patterns in the ash, with a thoughtful finger imagining the mighty beams, the curving lines of a roof that would touch the sky. He envisioned not just a shelter, but a heart for their growing village, a place where sagas would be spun, where children would grow into strong men and women, and where the community would find solace and warmth through countless winters. decision was made during the spring thing, the open-air assembly where the free men and women of the community gathered. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of thawing earth and new growth. Birds sang in the trees that lined the meeting ground, their songs a joyful counterpoint to the earnest discussions. Voices rose and fell, debating the best location, the necessary materials, the vast effort it would require. But there was a collective spirit, a shared understanding that this was a task for all, a legacy to be built with every hand. The older women, their faces lined with seasons of wisdom, nodded in approval, for they knew the importance of a strong hearth, a secure roof. Olaf presented his vision with quiet clarity. He spoke of a longhouse grand enough to shelter all the families in times of great storm or danger, or where feasts could be held, where traders from distant lands would be welcomed, and where the gods themselves might feel a moment of warmth. He spoke of timbers so immense they would seem to hold up the very sky, of walls of earth and wood that would breathe with the land, and a hearth that would glow like a captured sun through the longest nights. His words were not boasts, but promises, rooted in generations of craftsmanship. The chosen location was a gentle slope overlooking the fjord, a place sheltered from the harshest winds, but still touched by the sun's morning kiss. The ground here was firm, with a subtle rise that would allow for good drainage. Below, the river murmured its endless song, and above, the ancient whispering forest held its secrets. The first task was to clear the land. This was done with simple tools. Axes bit into scrub brush, spades turned the soil, and strong backs moved rocks, creating a level platform upon which their dreams would rest. The sounds were rhythmic, the thud of tools, the soft shuffle of earth, the low grunts of effort, all blending with the awakening sounds of spring. The distant call of curlews, the gentle buzz of early bees, the rustle of new leaves. As the sun climbed higher in the spring sky, painting the fjord with streaks of gold and silver, the community worked together. Children too young for heavy labor gathered smaller stones, their laughter echoing through the valley. Women carried fresh water from the spring, their steps light and purposeful. The air grew warmer. The days lengthened, and the vision of the longhouse began to take root, not just in Olaf's mind, but in the shared dreams of the entire village. Each evening, as the sun dipped below the western mountains, painting the sky in fiery hues, the workers would gather weary but content, their muscles aching with the pleasant fatigue of honest labor. The longhouse was more than a building. It was a promise taking shape, a testament to their collective will growing slowly from the earth itself. The soft sounds of their village settling for the night. The distant murmuring of the fjord and the gentle whisper of the wind through the newly cleared ground all contributed to a growing sense of peace and anticipation. Chapter 2: The Forest's Gift. As summer fully embraced the valley, bathing the fjord in a perpetual golden light, the true work began, the harvesting of the great timbers. This was a task steeped in ancient traditions, a dialogue between man and the forest. Olaf, accompanied by the strongest men and a few of the older, wiser women who knew the forest's secrets, ventured deep into the ancient woods that clung to the mountainsides. The air here was cooler, heavy with the scent of damp earth, rich moss, and towering pines that had stood for centuries, their branches whispering tales of forgotten winters. The forest was not merely a collection of trees, it was a living entity, a sacred space from which they sought a gift. Before any axe bit into bark, offerings were made to the spirits of the woods, a quiet plea for permission, a promise of respectful use. The sounds of their preparations were hushed, reverent, the gentle rustle of leaves underfoot, the soft murmur of voices, the deliberate sharpening of axes to a keen singing edge. Olaf walked among the giants of the forest, his hand resting on the rough bark of ancient oaks and towering firs, listening for the subtle language of the wood, seeking out the perfect trees, those that were straight and strong, free from rot, destined to become the bones of their new home. When a tree was chosen, the work began. The rhythmic thud of axes echoed through the silent forest, a deep, resonant sound that spoke of strength and purpose. It was a slow, arduous process, felling a giant. Each swing was precise, a dance between man and nature, guided by generations of inherited knowledge. The scent of fresh-cut pine filled the air sharp and clean, mingling with the earthy smell of disturbed soil. The moment a tree began its final descent was always marked by a profound hush, followed by the majestic slow-motion creak and groan of timbers straining the rustle of breaking branches, and finally a monumental earth-shaking thud as the giant met the forest floor. A cloud of dust and leaves would rise, then settle, leaving behind a silence that felt heavier, more profound than before. Once felled, the branches were carefully stripped away, the bark removed, and the mighty trunks were squared with broad axes, a painstaking process that transformed rough logs into smooth, strong beams. The sound of adzes chipping, shaving, and shaping wood was a continuous rhythmic melody throughout the summer days. Sunlight dappled through the leaves, creating shifting patterns on the forest floor. As men worked tirelessly, their muscles straining their brows, beaded with sweat, their movements were practiced almost meditative, each stroke bringing the raw timber closer to its destined form. Hauling the massive timbers from the deep forest back to the building site was a feat of communal strength and ingenuity. Teams of powerful ox, their breath steaming in the cooler mornings, strained against heavy yokes. Logs were dragged over specially constructed rollers, slowly inching their way down winding paths. The air would fill with the creak of wood on wood, the lowing of the oxen, and the rhythmic guttural songs of the men sung in unison to coordinate their efforts to lighten the burden of their labor. Children would watch from a safe distance, their eyes wide with awe at the sight of the giant timbers moving as if by magic. As the summer days lengthened, the building site gradually filled with the shaped timbers, massive posts for the central hall, long straight beams for the roof, and countless smaller planks for walls and platforms. The smell of fresh pine and oak mingled with the scent of damp earth and the distant cooking fires. The sounds of work were everywhere, the rhythmic clang of a hammer against a chisel, the soft rasp of a saw, the murmur of voices planning the next stage. The most profound moment was the raising of the main posts. These were the very bones of the longhouse, the central supports that would carry the weight of the roof in the centuries to come. It was a day for the entire community to gather their faces upturned, watching with a mixture of anticipation and reverence. Spit, braided animal hide were secured to the massive timbers with the shed ever grunts of strain and the low collective chant the men and women. Slowly, agonizingly, the great posts would begin to rise inch by careful inch until they stood tall and proud, reaching towards the vast open ski. As each post settled into its deep stone foundation, a cheer would rise from the gathered crowd, a sound of triumph and shared accomplishment echoing across the fjord. The longhouse was beginning to breathe. The quiet sounds of the evening were now filled with the gentle hum of satisfaction, the soft rustle of timbers settling, and the deep, steady rhythm of a dream taking solid form beneath the vast, indifferent sky. Chapter 3, Walls of Earth and Sky. As late summer drifted into the crisp air of autumn, the longhouse began to truly take shape, moving beyond its skeletal frame to become an enclosed, breathing entity. The rhythmic sounds of axe and saw were now joined by the softer, yet equally persistent sounds of earth and sky being woven into its very fabric. The scent of freshly split timber began to mingle with the earthy aroma of damp clay and the sweet dry smell of harvested straw. The walls were built using a technique as old as the hills themselves. Wattle and dub, long, slender willow branches gathered from the riverbanks, were woven horizontally between the sturdy vertical timber posts like a giant basket. This intricate weaving created a flexible, strong lattice. The sound of snapping twigs, the gentle swish of pliable branches, and the low murmur of hands working together filled the days. Children would often help their small fingers nimble as they threaded the lighter branches, learning the ancient art of building that had housed their ancestors for generations. Then came the daub, a thick mixture of clay, sand, water, and straw, pounded together until it reached a pliable consistency. It was hard, messy work done barefoot, feeling the cool, squishy earth between their toes. Hands strong and broad would then plaster this mixture onto the woven wattle framework, pushing it deep into every crevice, smoothing it over the surface. The rhythmic thwack of hands against the daub, the squish of the clay, and the satisfied sighs of the workers created a steady, grounding melody. Oh. As it dried, the daub hardened into a strong, insulating wall that would keep out the winter's chill and hold in the precious warmth of the hearth. The finished walls, with their earthy, organic texture, seemed to breathe with the land itself. Above the roof began its intricate journey skyward. This was the work of skilled roofers, often using long curved timbers shaped like the ribbed great beast or the upturned hull of a ship. These rafters were then covered with layers upon layers of thick golden thatch woven from the stoutest reeds and straw gathered from the summer field. The rustle of straw, the gentle thud as bundles were placed, and the precise snip of shears trimming the edges created a delicate, airy soundscape. Birds would often perch on the newly laid thatch, chirping softly, as if approving of their new potential nesting spots. This thick natural roof was not only waterproof, but also provided excellent insulation, keeping the longhouse cool in summer and remarkably warm in winter. From afar, the longhouse now looked like a part of the landscape, its turf roof blending seamlessly with the surrounding hills. The doorways and window openings were carefully framed with stronger timbers, their edges smoothed by adzes. Around these vital openings, intricate carvings began to appear. These were not merely decorative, they were protective. Rune's ancient symbols of power and wisdom were carefully etched into the wood, a subtle binding spell against malevolent spirits, a quiet blessing for those who entered, a silent prayer for warmth and abundance. The soft scrape of a carving tool against wood, the subtle aroma of fresh wood dust, and the concentrated quiet of the carvers added another layer of calm to the building process. Even the smallest details, like the iron hinges for the heavy wooden doors, were crafted with care, the clang of the blacksmith's hammer echoing from a nearby forge. Inside the longhouse was transforming. The central hearth, now a grand stone-lined pit, stood ready to receive its first ceremonial fire. Along the walls, raised wooden platforms were being constructed. These would be the sleeping benches where families would gather close their bodies, a shared source of warmth against the winter nights. The sounds inside were becoming softer, more intimate, the gentle thump of wood mallets against pegs, the quiet murmur of voices discussing the final touches, the soft shuffle of straw being laid for bedding. As the sun began to dip lower in the autumn sky, casting long golden shadows across the valley, the longhouse stood complete, an imposing yet deeply welcoming structure. Smoke now curled steadily from the hole at its peak, a sign of life, of warmth, of a dream realized. The last sounds of the day were the gentle creak of the newly hung door, the soft sigh of the wind through the thatched roof, and the quiet contentment of a community preparing to gather within its new protective embrace. The very air around the longhouse now seemed to hum with the quiet promise of shelter, of belonging, ready for the long, hushed nights ahead. Chapter 4. The Heart of the Hearth. The first winter in the new longhouse descended with a soft, persistent silence. The air grew sharp, carrying the crisp scent of snow, and the fjord outside turned to a vast, shimmering sheet of ice, its usual murmuring song hushed into a deep, reflective stillness. But within the walls of the grand new hall, a different song began to rise, the warm, steady hum of life, a testament to the collective effort of the past seasons. The central hearth, now fully lit, was the beating heart of the longhouse. Flames danced and flickered, casting long, shifting shadows that played across the carved timbers and the earthen walls. The air was thick with the comforting smell of burning birch and oak, mingled with the savory aroma of cooking meat and the faint, sweet tang of fermenting ale. Here the community gathered, their faces softened by the firelight, their bodies leaning into the shared warmth. The roar of the winter wind outside, though fierce, was a distant whisper, unable to penetrate the thick walls and the carefully layered thatch. Each morning, before the first hint of dawn touched the eastern sky, the embers in the hearth would be carefully coaxed back to life, a gentle breathing sound as the flame rekindled. A thick pot, often made of iron or soapstone, would hang perpetually over the embers, bubbling with a hearty stew, a blend of dried fish, preserved meats, and root vegetables, its aroma filling the longhouse with a promise of sustenance. The clinking of wooden spoons against bowls, the quiet chewing, and the soft sighs of contentment were the sounds of breakfast, a shared ritual of warmth against the cold. During the long, hushed days of winter, the longhouse hummed with quiet industry. Women sat by the small, deeply set windows, their hands busy with weaving. The rhythmic clack, clack of the loom, the gentle hum of the spinning wheel, and the soft rustle of wool filled the air. They wove thick, warm tunics, cloaks, and blankets, their fingers nimble and tireless, creating garments that would protect their families from the biting cold. The soft light filtering through the small window openings illuminated the intricate patterns taking shape under their skilled hands. In other corners, men sat carving their concentration deep and quiet. The soft scrape of a carving knife against wood, the delicate curl of wood shavings falling to the packed earth floor, and the occasional thoughtful grunt were the sounds of their craft. They fashioned tools, decorated household items with intricate knotwork, or carved small figures of gods and heroes, their artistry a form of devotion. The scent of fresh wood, usually pine or birch, would drift through the longhouse, adding another layer to its rich sensory tapestry. Children, their laughter usually echoing across the summer fields, now played more quietly, their games adapted to the indoor space. They built small villages with carved blocks of wood, whispered cigars to each other in hushed tones, or simply sat by the fire, mesmerized by the dancing flames. Their soft murmurs, the occasional gentle thud of a wooden toy, and the contented sighs of drowsy infants were the quiet sounds of young life thriving within the sanctuary. As evening deepened and the only light came from the central hearth, the true magic of the longhouse came alive. Families would gather on their sleeping platforms, nestled together, bodies pressed close for shared warmth. The rustle of straw bedding, the soft creak of timbers settling, and the deep, even breathing of those drifting into sleep created a symphony of peace. Often an elder, their voice raspy with years, would begin a saga, a tale of their ancestors, of the gods, or of a great journey. The words would hang in the smoky air, weaving dreams for the listeners, their rhythm slow and mesmerizing, gliding gently away from the world of wakefulness. The longhouse breathed with. It absorbed their breath, their dreams, their stories, becoming more than just a structure. It was a living entity, a protector, a silent witness to their lives. The scent of wood smoke, the warmth of the fire, the sounds of contented sighs and soft snores, all blended into a profound sense of security and belonging. Here, within these walls, the harshness of winter was forgotten. Only warmth, peace and the deep, unwavering rhythm of home remained. The world outside could rage with snow and wind, but inside the longhouse held them safe and sound through the longest, darkest nights. Chapter 5: Whispers of Generations. As the centuries rolled on like the gentle, endless waves upon the fjord, the longhouse stood a silent guardian. It absorbed the breath of countless generations, each a whisper added to its ancient timbers, each a dream woven into its very foundation. The harsh winters came and went, the brief, brilliant summers blossomed and faded, but the longhouse remained, its turf roof perpetually green, its central hearth a steadfast beacon of warmth and life. It witnessed the quiet passing of seasons, each one bringing its own unique sounds and scents. In spring, the air inside would lighten, filled with the promise of new growth. The distant bleating of newborn lambs carried on the gentle breeze. Summer brought the hum of busy hands preparing for harvest, the distant songs of reapers, and the warm, earthy smell of drying grains. Autumn would settle in with the scent of wood smoke and damp leaves, a quiet preparation for the long inward journey of winter, when the longhouse would once again become the sole world for those within. Grandchildren played in the same shadows where their grandparents had once played, their laughter echoing off the same smoke-darkened timbers. The grooves worn into the packed earth floor by generations of footsteps deepened, telling a silent story of countless lives lived within these walls. New carvings, perhaps a protective rune for a newborn, or a symbol of a warrior's successful journey, would appear on the wooden posts, adding new layers to the ancient tapestry of the longhouse's skin. The central hearth, though continuously rebuilt and relined with fresh stones, maintained its ancient form, its glow a constant, unchanging heart. Old men, their voices raspy with age and wisdom, would sit by the fire, their eyes half closed, sharing sagas that now included their own youthful adventures, stories that blended seamlessly into the deeper, older myths of Odin and Thor. Young women would gather to weave by the windows, their nimble fingers continuing the ancient craft. The rhythmic click-clack of the loom, a timeless sound. The very air within the longhouse felt alive with the accumulated memories, the quiet presence of those who had lived and loved, toiled and rested within its sheltering embrace. The longhouse had seen times of plenty, when harvests were bountiful and the feasting lasted for days, the hall filled with joyous shouts and the clinking of drinking horns. It had also known lean times when hunger was a silent guest, and the fear had to be carefully nursed, its warmth a precious commodity. Through it all, the longhouse offered a constant, a place of refuge, a symbol of community, a testament to the quiet strength of people bound by blood, by land, and by the shared warmth of a single hearth. The sounds of their daily lives, the soft murmur of conversation, the gentle stirring in sleep, the contented sighs, were the very breath of the Longhouse itself. It was more than just wood and earth. It was memory given form. It was resilience etched into timber. It was the enduring song of home whispered through its ancient beams, felt in the warmth of its floor, and heard in the quiet beat of its heart, the ever-glowing fire. The Longhouse stood not shouting its history, but quietly, profoundly being it. It had seen empires rise and fall, new beliefs sweep across the lands, but its own rhythm remained tied to the sun, the moon, and the steadfast earth. Its strength was not in its grandeur, but in its quiet persistence, its unwavering embrace of those it sheltered. And so, as the world outside evolved, as the Viking age slowly gave way to new eras, the Longhouse remained. It became a living echo of a time when life was raw, yet deeply connected, when survival was a daily art and home was truly a sanctuary. The whispers of generations, the dreams of its inhabitants, all lingered within its ancient walls, a profound, enduring peace that settled deep into the very core of its being. Now, as the image of the Longhouse, standing strong through countless seasons, settles gently in your mind, let its deep, unwavering peace embrace you. Feel the ancient warmth of its hearth, the quiet strength of its timbers, and the enduring comfort of generations dreaming within its walls. As your breath deepens, slows, imagine yourself curled safely within that warmth, sheltered from all concern, surrounded by the quiet hum of time passing and the gentle presence of home. You are safe. You are at peace. The long journey of the Longhouse, like your own day, has found its resting place. Drift now, dear dreamer, into the deep, nourishing slumber you deserve. May your sleep be as secure and as timeless as the ancient Longhouse. And now, as the gentle quiet of the Longhouse settles around us, let us turn our gaze not to the sturdy timbers of earthly homes, but to the very fabric of the cosmos. Our next tale takes us beyond Midgard, beyond the world of men, into the boundless expanse woven by ancient forces. Let your breath deepen, soften, and imagine yourself drifting through the silent, star-dusted branches of the greatest tree of all. Chapter 1. The Roots of All Being. Yggdrasil. In the heart of the Norse cosmos, where all worlds are held in delicate balance, stands the mighty ash Yggdrasil. It is not merely a tree, but the very essence of existence, its colossal trunk rising through the swirling mists, its branches spreading wider than any sky. You know its roots delving deeper than any abyss. Its presence is a quiet hum, a slow, ancient breath that permeates all of creation. Feel its vastness, its unwavering strength, as if your very breath is drawn from its endless green leaves. From its highest branches it brushes against the celestial halls of Asgard, home to Odin, Thor, and the valiant Aesir. Its mighty trunk pierces through the very air you breathe down into Midgard, the world of humankind, where fields whisper with grain and rivers sing their timeless songs. And deep, deep beneath the earth, its oldest roots anchor into the chilling depths of Niflheim, the realm of mist and ice, touching the springs that feed all life. Yggdrasil is the axis of all, the silent weaver of connections between realms, a cosmic tapestry of wood and life. Creatures dwell within its boundless expanse, each playing its part in the eternal rhythm. A wise eagle perches on its uppermost boughs, its keen eyes surveying all that lies below, its soft, steady breathing, the very breeze that stirs the leaves. A proud hawk, Vedafölnir, rests between its eyes, a silent sentinel. And between them, the nimble squirrel Ratatoskr scurries up and down the trunk, carrying messages. Not always cheerful, but always adding to the lively pulse of the world tree. His tiny paws make the softest tap, tap, tap against the ancient bark, a sound almost unheard amidst the quiet grandeur. At its roots, deep within the shadows, lies a great serpent Nidhogg. He gnaws endlessly, a slow ancient rhythm, but his work is not of destruction, but of constant renewal, reminding all that even the oldest things must change, must yield to make way for new growth. He is a part of the tree just as the tree is part of the endless cycle. The sounds here are subtle, the gentle, almost imperceptible scrape of ancient scales against root, the deep, resonating thrum of the tree's own life force. 3 ancient wells nourish Yggdrasil each, a source of profound power and quiet wisdom. At the root that reaches into Asgard lies Urdabrunner, the well of Urd. Here, by its shimmering clear waters, sit the Norns, Urdvardandi and Skuld. They are the Fates, 3 ancient sisters who endlessly spin the threads of destiny for all beings, gods and mortals alike. Their fingers, gnarled and wise, move with a slow, rhythmic grace, their whispers softer than the rustle of leaves, as they weave the past, present, and future into an intricate, unbreakable tapestry. You can almost hear the gentle whir of their spinning wheels, the soft snip of their shears. As a thread is completed, a quiet, reassuring sound that life's path, though mysterious, is always being woven. Another route extends to Jotunheim, the realm of giants, where Mimir's Brunner Mimir's well of wisdom patiently awaits from its dark, still depths. Wisdom flows guarded by the ancient head of Mimir himself. It is a place of profound silence, broken only by the soft drip of water and the occasional, almost imperceptible sigh of the universe reflecting on its deepest truths. And the third route reaches towards Niflheim, the realm of mist and cold, where Vergelmir, the roaring kettle, churns with primal energy, the source of all rivers, and the origin of countless levies. The sounds here are a deep, distant rumble, a gentle, continuous vibration that is the heartbeat of the world's deepest springs. Yggdrasil breathes. You can feel its slow extent to inhale and exhale, a quiet, gentle swaying that rocks all the realms within its embrace. The scent of its leaves, ancient and profound, is the very air you breathe, carrying the scent of all worlds. The fresh growth of Midgard, the subtle light of Alfheim, the deep coolness of Niflheim. As you rest now, let your mind drift with the gentle hum of this cosmic tree. Feel its unwavering presence, its steady rhythm, connecting everything, holding everything in a vast, silent embrace. There is no hurry here, only the timeless flow of being woven by the Norns, nurtured by ancient waters, under the watchful, calm eye of the cosmic eagle. Chapter 2, A Glimpse of the Realms, with Yggdrasil. As our silent guide, let us now drift gently through the realms it connects, glimpsing the myriad forms of existence woven into its boundless branches. Close your eyes and let your imagination carry you softly, as if on a breeze. First, imagine a journey to Asgard, not the thunderous halls of feasting warriors, but the quiet inner chambers where the gods reflect, where wisdom is gathered. Here the air shimmers with a subtle golden light, not blinding, but warm and inviting. You might hear the distant melodic notes of a lyre played by a gentle hand, or the soft rustle of ancient scrolls being turned by Odin's ravens Hugin and Munin as they return from their silent journeys, their feathers making the softest sound as they settle on Odin's shoulders, whispering thoughts and memories. The scent here is of aged wood, polished stone, and perhaps a faint, sweet aroma of forgotten mead. This is a place of profound thought, where even the mightiest gods find moments of quiet contemplation. Then a gentle descent past the shimmering arc of Bifrost, the Rainbow Bridge. A silent, colorful ribbon stretched across the void below. Midgard unfurls the world of humankind. But in this journey, we see it not as a place of toil or conflict, but as a realm of enduring beauty. Imagine rolling green hills bathed in the soft light of a setting sun, where the gentle baa of sheep drifts on the evening air. You might hear the distant, contented low of a cow, or the soft chirp of crickets as dusk settles. The air carries the scent of damp earth, sweet wildflowers, and the comforting aroma of smoke curling from unseen longhouse chimneys. It is a world of gentle rhythms of life unfolding simply, harmoniously. Under the vast, patient drift further, perhaps to Alfheim, the realm of the light elves. Here the very light itself seems to hum with a quiet energy, soft and ethereal, casting no harsh shadows. The trees might glow with a gentle inner luminescence, their leaves making the softest, almost musical shimmer. You might hear the faint melodic tinkle of unseen bells, or the delicate flutter of invisible wings. The air is pure, fresh, carrying the scent of morning dew and blooming luminous flowers. There is a sense of effortless grace here, a quiet dance of light and beauty, where every movement is a whisper, every sound a sigh. Then, deeper still, beneath the very earth lies Svartalfheim, the realm of the dwarves. Here, the world is one of ancient stone and muted echoes, but focused not on the clanging of hammers, but on the profound quiet of their deep caverns where the earth hums with hidden energies. You might hear the soft drip drip of water from ancient stalactites, or the distant muffled thrum of the earth's heart. The air carries the scent of cool stone damp earth, and the faint, enduring aroma of ancient metals. Imagine intricate, softly glowing crystals embedded in the cavern walls, casting a gentle, ethereal light. It is a place of patient craftsmanship, where time itself moves slowly, allowing for meticulous work and quiet contemplation. Let your consciousness float back now gently, gently returning to the vast, encompassing presence of Yggdrasil. Feel the threads of connection between these diverse realms, all held within the peaceful embrace of the world tree. There is no struggle here, no conflict, only the quiet understanding that all things exist, all things are connected, each playing its unique, essential part in the grand, silent symphony of the cosmos. The air here is still filled only with the softest breath of the universe, a profound sense of peace. Chapter 3, The Paths of Rest. Valhalla and Helheim, the Norns spin their threads of fate, so too do they weave the pathways to what lies beyond life's journey. In the Norse worldview, death was not a single stark ending, but a continuation, a transition to different realms of rest, each with its own quiet purpose. Let us gently explore two of these paths, not with fear, but with the understanding that they, too, are places of final peace and enduring memory. First, journey to Valhalla, Odin's great hall in Asgard. This is not a place of endless battle for the fallen, as many tales suggest, but a sanctuary of honored rest. Picture vast halls, their timbers polished by generations of light, filled with the soft, steady glow of countless hearths. You might hear the low murmur of contented voices, the gentle clink of drinking horns being set down, or the distant, almost imperceptible thrum of a lyre playing a slow, ancient melody. The air here is clean crisp, carrying the scent of aged wood, fine mead, and the quiet satisfaction of duties fulfilled. The warriors here, the Einherjar, do not endlessly fight battles in a chaotic frenzy. Instead, imagine them in moments of peaceful camaraderie, sharing quiet tales by the fire, their faces serene, their souls at rest. They are honored, respected, their courage remembered, but the toil of battle is behind them. They find a profound, deep peace here, a sense of eternal belonging, watching the cosmic dance of Yggdrasil from their lofty perch. The very atmosphere here is one of quiet celebration, of profound contentment, a gentle sigh of eternity. And then let us drift softly to Helheim, the realm ruled by Hel Loki's daughter. This is often misunderstood, not a place of torment, but a vast, silent realm of shadows and mist, a final resting place for those who did not fall in battle. Imagine endless hushed plains veiled in a soft, perpetual twilight. The air here is cool still, carrying the faint earthy scent of ancient soil and deep quiet mists. You might hear no sound but the gentle whisper of the wind as it drifts across the vast expanse, or the almost inaudible shuffle of unseen footsteps. Hel herself is not a figure of malice, but of quiet authority. Her realm is one of found stillness, of deep reflection. The souls here find their final rest in environment of serene acceptance. They are not judged, not punished, simply exist in a state of quiet. Their journey is complete. It is a place where memories settle like dust, all anxieties are soothed by the encompassing silence. There is a profound sense of peace here, a quiet dignity that embraces all who arrive, a place where the soul can truly find its deepest, most undisturbed rest. The sounds are of absolute stillness, of a profound encompassing quiet that invites deep restorative slumber. Both Valhalla and Helheim, though different, offer a form of ultimate peace. One, a vibrant memory of honor. The other, a profound embracing silence. Both are part of the vast, intricate design woven by the Norns. At the roots of Yggdrasil, each a destination, a final chapter in the grand saga of existence. As you rest now, let the notion of these peaceful resting places settle in your mind. Feel the gentle acceptance of fate, the quiet understanding that all journeys find therein, and all souls must their appropriate repose. There is nothing to fear, only the soft embrace of final peace. Chapter 4. The Endless Weave. As our journey through the cosmic tapestry of Yggdrasil and its realms draws to a gentle close, let your mind rest upon the enduring power of the Norns and their endless weave. Urd Verdandi and Skuld continue their work by the well of Urderbrunner, their ancient fingers moving with a slow, deliberate grace, spinning the threads of life, measuring its length, and eventually with a quiet, certain snip, bringing it to its gentle end. Their presence is a reminder that all things have their place, all lives have their story, and all moments are connected in the vast, intricate design of the cosmos. Feel the profound silence of their work, broken only by the soft whir of the spinning wheel and the gentle lap of the well water. The air around them is tasteless, filled with the faint, comforting scent of ancient wisdom and destiny. There is no hurry, no rush, only the slow, steady rhythm of creation and conclusion. They do not judge the threads they weave. They simply ensure the continuity of the universe, a silent, powerful force of order in a world of constant change. Yggdrasil, the world. Tree continues to breathe its vast presence, encompassing all, holding all in its gentle embrace. You can feel its slow, majestic sway, a quiet rock that lulls the realms within its branches. The eagle at its summit remains watchful. The serpent at its roots continues its silent work, and Ratatoskr the squirrel still scurries with his endless messages, each a tiny thread in the grand design. All are part of this enduring, peaceful ecosystem of existence. As your thoughts drift, now imagine yourself as a part of this endless weave, your own life, your own breath, a precious thread spun by the Norns, a part of the grand tapestry. Feel the security of being held within this immense, ancient design, where every moment, every experience has its place. There is nothing to strive for, nothing to fear, only to simply be, and to allow the gentle flow of existence to carry you. Let the image of the Norns quietly weaving bring a sense of profound peace to your mind. Know that your path is being held, that you are connected to something vast and eternal. All the journeys of the Norse, all the tales of gods and mortals, all the bustling life in the longhouses and the quiet stillness of the realms beyond are part of this magnificent silent symphony. It is a world where even the end is a new beginning, and where peace can always be found deep within the heart of existence. Now, as the last echoes of the world tree's song fade into a profound encompassing stillness, let your own body soften, your mind quiet, and your breath settle into its deepest, most peaceful rhythm. You are exactly where you are meant to be. Let go of any thoughts that do not serve you. You are wrapped in warmth and safety, in rest. The world is taking care of itself. You can let go. You are supported just as the earth supports you. Your breath is slow, steady, peaceful. Every part of you is unwinding into rest. You're allowed to rest without guilt or worry. You are floating deeper and deeper into sleep. You can trust that everything is unfolding as it should. You are weightless calm. Breathe. Surrender to the quiet rhythm of the night. Sleep is washing over you like a gentle tide. You are drifting into deep, nourishing rest. Your thoughts are soft like clouds passing by. You are welcoming sleep with open arms. You are loved. You are cared for. You are enough. Nothing is urgent. The night holds you. You can let your body sink into comfort and ease. Your breath is guiding you into sleep. Everything you need is already within you. The world is quiet, and you are part of that quiet. You are arriving into the deepest peace you have ever known. Sleep is a gift, and you are accepting it fully. You are safe. You are at peace. You are asleep.